to little guys all over the country. So I've been doing Google for quite some time. The great thing about Google is I was a Microsoft guy forever. I grew up in a large corporation and supported Microsoft for multinational organizations, and I thought that was the greatest thing ever. And then I kind of went out on my own once I hit a glass ceiling there and said, what can we do? And Google was just starting out there for the Google Apps piece, and took that and looked at it, ran with it, and it is considerably better than what it ever has been. And today, I think the value of it is astronomical, especially for people like you. Google gives it to you for free, for all of your students, for all of your staff, for all your alumni. So that's usually pretty compelling. It's able to replace Exchange with no problem. Everybody knows Roche, right? Roche Diagnostics here and everything. So they just went to Google. 90,000 US users just went to Google. They moved Europe 2 years ago, I think, and they finally decided to go through and do the rest of the organization here in the United States. So we're working on that. Little tech guys. So real quick, what is your, just if I could go around the room real quick, what is your understanding of Google and your name? Start here.
Name's Bill Chase, principal of Town Middle School.
Okay.
Probably not a whole lot more than just about proud.
Okay. Don't use Gmail at home? Okay.
Amy Wyatt, assistant principal at LaPel Elementary. I use it as a search engine. I do have Gmail, and I use Chrome as my web browser.
Okay.
I'm Greg Granger and did it what he's.
Okay.
Barry Key and same thing. A fun little game on top of Google every once in a while.
The fun little games.
Yeah. Every once in a while. Pac-Man's what they do.
I'm John Willis at LaPel High School, and I will use it for a browser, and I'll use Chrome on my laptop at home.
Okay.
I'm Chad Cameron at LaPel High School. I use it for web browsing.
Okay.
Sterling Bowles, web browsing, maps, Google Docs. Been to the App Store, downloaded a few apps for
Okay.
free, just checking things out.
Okay.
Donna Sizlove, mainly web browser and the maps.
Okay.
Mitzi Pruitt, Frankton Elementary School. I use Gmail at home and the browser and Chrome.
Terry Ward, I teach at Frankton Elementary. Same thing she does.
Okay.
Zach Fuqua, I teach at LaPel Elementary, and I've used Google Docs and Google Drive.
Okay. Okay. So there's a few of us that have used Google Drive. That's great. That's good. There's a few of us that don't even know you can Google it, right? That's about as much as we know out there. So that's good information. Hold up, or are you?
I don't know what the history of the Google name is, and then they got Google. Do we know that?
Yeah, Google.
What does Google mean? History of the what's the etymology of Google?
Okay. If you want to hook it up to your machine, hook it back up. I can do it on your machine. So that's a great thing about Google is that because everything's in the cloud, I don't have to worry about my laptop, right? My laptop is this is all orchestrated actually. See, this is right here. So I just am able to log into another device and be able to pull up all that information. So whether you're on your iPad, your phone, your computer at home, your PC sitting in the office, your friend's MacBook, whatever. You got Chromebooks, right? So if you start using Chromebooks, there's nothing on here. It's all sitting in the cloud. It's all up there, and so you don't have to worry about it. The goal for today is I'm just going to go through a quick little presentation and talk a little bit about Google to help you just kind of get all up to the same level from an organization standpoint of what's there. And so with this, I'm just going to go to my drive. I'm going to put in my email. And you notice it says, hey, you've never signed onto this machine before. This is a great demo. You have to go enter a code. So now, if somebody steals your password, they can't get in still. They actually have to have a code that you have that's generated on an app on your phone. So it's kind of a second level of security to get into the system. If it says, hey, you want to remember this computer, okay, this is a new computer for me, I need to go in and remember it. And after 30 days, it'll ask you again for this code. So that's just another level of security for it. Anybody use the little RSID tokens or from banks or anything? It's usually what I get a lot of. But I go and I put a code in that changes every minute. Uncheck that because I'm not going to be back in this computer. I'm looking at my information right now on here and it says, hey, look, here's this presentation I just had. I'm going to start it up and I'm on your guys' machine. I'm not on my machine. My machine, we couldn't get to work. You'll take it? I can get it to work. So what we'll do is I'll just start a quick little presentation here. And you see that I don't even have to have that application installed on this system. It all runs out of the browser. So I don't need PowerPoint or whatever application I have sitting on that machine. Again, because I'm using Google Apps, it all runs off the cloud, all runs off your browser. You could watch this if you wanted to on your iPads, on your phone. Interesting?
Brett, is the two-factor authentication, is that a requirement, or is that something that you can sort of turn on or off?
You can turn it on and off based on organizational unit.
Okay.
So if you don't want your students to have it, see, so one of the things I just made an assumption there as is that all your students are going to have an ID to log into the system. Maybe that's a paradigm shift for you. I don't know. We'll see here. But they'll be able to log in with their system, and you'll be able to control if they can send an email outside of the organization if you want. Or only send it to the student's organization. Or only send it to the teacher's organization. And then what's nice is you can have a hierarchy structure there that maybe you start putting the graduation year as a name of the OU, and you could just change those settings as they progress through the school system. Maybe allow more access to various other opportunities. So what is it? So you guys think you want to go to Google. So what's that mean, right? You need a reason. You need tools. You need devices. Content, right? That's always good. Community and training. So you need support as well. So here are the reasons. I just showed you one. The web is one of the best platforms. I didn't have to have it sitting on my machine. I didn't have to have it. let's do a thumb drive transfer. Oh, you don't have that application? Oh, right? Sales guys love this, right? They don't have to fumble through the presentation. Again, it was all orchestrated, so. So what's that mean? The web is the best platform. You go out there and you look and you say, you know, has the web gone down? No, not really. The web is so intertwined, it has so many tentacles, if you will, strings, that it really won't go down since it's built where it is today. Watch it also goes down. Teaching is evolving. What do we call the kids today? The digitals? Why is that? That digital language is a second language to them that they've learned from when they're watching you on your iPad. My daughter sent out her first email at 15 minutes old from her own domain. So that's just kind of she's 9 years old. Hello world, right? That's kind of the piece of it. So their learning has evolved to that digital, to that on-demand, to that ability to sit there, want things instantly, be able to find that access to that information that they need. Anybody know what this is?
Google Glasses.
This is Google Glass. I'm a trekker, right? So this was actually Wesley Snipes and the ship got invaded by those marauders that gave them something that looked exactly like this. It scanned their eyes and took over the ship, blah, 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 blah. They found out what it was and everything. But this right here has a camera, has a microphone, has a display you wear, and you are able to be connected to the web. You talk to it. That's your mouse. You say, okay, Glass, start recording. That's kind of the future. Wearables coming in. So you're looking at the Brooklyn Bridge, and you go, okay, Glass, how long is the Brooklyn Bridge? It tells you. It actually displays this information on your eye as you're looking at it. Does that scare anybody? But that's the direction we're going. That's where we are. Whole new problems with trying to teach kids and not have them cheat and all the other stuff, right? Is what your guys' heads are going through. Just look a little bit further and you'll see that there's great possibilities there. Could we live without the web today? Could we live without email today? Sure, we could. How far back would we go? How far innovative would stop? Learning beyond the classroom, right? That's one thing that we always want to go out there. Anybody got grandkids or little kids, maybe 3 or 4? What are they doing today? They want your iPad, they want your phone, they want to play games, they want to be on the web, they want to watch their cartoons on demand whenever they want. As you're traveling down the road. And now switch over to watch sports if you want to, right? I mean, it's just amazing what you can do. You got all these different platforms, all these different mediums, modalities out there. You got video, YouTube. You got images. Here's what palladium looks like, or platinum palladium looks like. Mixed platinum, right? You've got apps, which we talked about just a second ago, that add to your Chrome. So now you log in to somebody else's device, your apps are all already right there, ready to go. And of course, you've got your web search. unlimited opportunities. So how fast can we search on solar system? We got 279 billion results in 0.32 seconds. That's pretty fast. It's a lot of information. Information overload to some point. How do we, right? There's competitors out there say, oh, how do you get the right information and everything? The great thing is that they're always going through and figuring out who you are, right? And understanding what you've searched for in the past starts boiling up these more relevant topics for you as opposed to just a general search. Anywhere, anytime, any device. You know, I've been trying to figure out what machine this is. I still can't figure out what machine that is. I'm a hardware guy, so I still don't know what that is. I've done a really good job of taking that out. But he can go through and access that information anywhere.
Hey Brad, if it doesn't interrupt the thought that you're on with respect to this, how does the apps, how do the apps persist when the device is not connected? In particular with Chromebooks, there's a certain amount of solid state storage here, or if you're accessing on a laptop, you know, what am I going to be able to do when not connected?
It depends on the application. It depends on the developer, right? There's a lot of people out there. Google has done a great job of taking your email and making it available offline if you're not connected. You can now work on documents, Google native documents offline when you're not connected. Come back on and everything synchronizes up and it's all back to there. So the amount of storage on devices really has become unnecessary. How many times we're fully connected? Almost always. So we also want to engage everyone in the schools, right? In the community. So families are involved. You're able to take a document on East Africa food crisis, share it out there with people, whether they have Google or not. They get a link, they click on it, they're looking at the live document. You make a change on it, they are able to see you make the change as it goes. You don't have to send another version. You don't have to say, oh, what version do you have? Your version 12? No, we need version 14. It's live. You guys use this, the ones that said they use documents. Have you seen this? Have you worked with this? Have you played with this any? Yeah? Yeah?
I did my master's all online, so I never met any of the people I worked with, but we use docs to share. It was a lot easier than sending a PowerPoint back and forth.
Did you ever use the collaboration feature that's sat there and two of you were working on the project at the same time?
I never used it.
Yep. So you can do that. You know, I've sent out proposals, right? Somebody reads a proposal and goes, oh, no, this isn't right. Hold on a second. Is that better? Instantly. Not, oh, let me send it back to you here. Now open it up and think of how much time it saves. And you can allow them to be able to edit it, or comment only, or read only. So still, you have control of that security. But here's what I was just talking about. That you've got two people, you can have up to 64 people right now working on the same document at the exact same time. Any controllers in the room? Any guys that want to hold accounting degrees and everything? Does that scare you? All these changes just happened. What happened? The great thing is it's tracking every change all the time. And there's a revision history, which we'll show you in just a few minutes, that you can go back and see who changed what they changed it, what they changed it to, what they changed it from, what they deleted. And there's no save button anymore. Because it all sits there. So you want to learn about environments. How many people have rainforests in their backyard? That's like anybody here. But you can go take a trek on the Amazon rainforest through the map interface and be able to walk the same steps. The guy that did this, because this is part of Places, Google Places, which is part of Maps. And you're able to traverse along there. See the foliage, see what it looks like, see the river, see all the animals in there, look around virtually. So how does this prepare students for their careers? So when you're in the classroom, technology is the norm out there, right? How many people see people picking up books out in the real world? Not many. They're looking at it on the computer, looking at it on their iPad, looking on their Kindle. Here, they're working, they're collaborating, they're sitting next to each other, but they're really interfacing through the device, right? Working on the same document, they're typing the information in, they're looking at it, they can have a chat conversation with them. Does that work in the real world? You have a meeting, you sit next to a computer, you work on a document to put it all together and figure it out. So it develops those skills of how to collaborate. And your web presence is more important anymore, right? I mean, you really, for you to get out there and to have all this information, you did your master's online, you can now put it out there and have that person as a web, control it however you want, who has access to it, so don't get, oh, wait, it's publicly accessible and everybody can see it now, we got problems. No, you can change it, whoever you want to have access to. This is an intranet site. They've got their movie that they created on, that's posted on YouTube, posted out here. They have all their documents. They have what their information is, what their pictures they've done, where they've visited. Questions so far? Does this go where you want to go before I go any further? Is this too much PowerPoint? PowerPoint by death? Death to PowerPoint?
It's not powerful.
Yeah.
It's a presentation. Is this answering questions? Is this developing questions? Is this going the wrong direction? Go ahead and talk, it's okay. I don't think.
I don't know much about it. I didn't know much about Chromebooks and what they can do, and so it's very
So what I've talked about right now is not even the Chromebook piece, right? But the Chromebook is just a device that interfaces that you're able to do all of this stuff.
So I've learned a few things with it. So
Okay.
information.
That's good. So looking okay so far?
I'm learning a lot. The Google Glass does scare my wife. She finds it a little bit creepy.
You got watches now. Have you seen the big commercial that came out with Galaxy Gear 3, I think is what they're calling it, right? The tricorder and all the communication and the Dick Tracy phone, watch phone and all that stuff, right? It's all become real now. That line is called wearables. So you need the right tools to be able to pull all this stuff off, right? We talked about a lot of different things. Google Apps for Education is one of those tools I think does a great job and interfaces all of this together. Anybody knows how much Google Apps cost for school organizations? Can you put it in pounds? Can you put it in yen? It doesn't cost anything. Now there are some services out there that you might sit there and say, oh, hey, we want to wrap this around it, or let's say we want to do Vault for everything, which says anything coming in or going out of that organization, of that user, is recorded. So you have a history of emails, of documents, of conversations, all recorded, so you can always go back to it if you need to. That costs $10 per staff member, free for students.
How long are the students in?
Forever. Is that long enough? We could probably make a little more. Okay. Infinity and beyond, right? So here's a university out of Italy. Transformed their entire online services offering. Roll out powerful collaboration services, cost savings of €60,000 per year from a university. So what's included in all this stuff? You got email. This is 30 now, so it was 25. About 6 months ago, it's now up to 30. So email, right? Sending an email back and forth. Everybody knows what email is, right? Anybody not know what email is? Okay. Email's supposed to be dead too, from my understanding, but that's a whole other conversation. Calendar. Everybody knows what the calendar is, right? Everybody got a meeting invite for this meeting today? Put on your calendar. Did anybody get that meeting invite and accept it on their phone? No? iPad? No? Doesn't matter. It all goes up to the cloud. It's all up there. It's all running. It's ready. Google Drive. So Google Drive is what we're looking at right now. This is presentation. That's an app inside of Drive. Drive is also storage. So if you say, I don't want to go with the Google format stuff. Okay, no problem. Put a Word document in Drive. This is your personal, I don't know what you guys call it, your H drive, where you keep your information there. The great thing is, you can easily share it, if the administrator allows you to share it outside of your organization. So again, you still have that control of where you want to save it. Drive storage and Google storage have actually come together. So you've got a now 30 gig of email space or drive space, or a combination of the two. You can have per person, per account. If you use Google native documents, it is counts 0 against your quota. If you put a Word document in it, it'll count however much space that Word document uses. But if you use a Google Doc, 0.
Brad, is that true for Google Slides and Sheets as well?
Absolutely. Any Google native format. So there's, in here, there's Sheets, right? Excel, presentation, PowerPoint, documents, Word, and there's also image creator. So you can just look at it as Paint, but it's Paint plus Visio plus some other things. So you can actually create objects in it, tie anchors to it, tie it across, move.
Keep going.
So you can sit there and tie everything to it.
Oh, that's good.
He's much better now.
Yeah, good.
Be able to tie everything to it and move it around and make great things. So groups, this is like a distribution group. So do you guys have distribution groups? You need to send an email out to everybody in the staff of your school, right? That's a distribution group. This is that plus another level. This is also a repository. So you send an email out about something near and dear to my heart right now, paper supplies to your students or to your staff, faculty, and a new faculty person comes in, you don't have to send that out again. Say, hey, go look at the policy in this group here, and there it is. And we're able to see all the information that's happened that has gone to that group and seen all the responses, the replies, and what's happened out of it and everything. So new teacher comes in halfway through the year, they're able to go into this and pick up pretty quick. This is where everything was. Talk, chat. Anybody use chat? Anybody use instant communication? So talk is where you're able to see presence. So can I see if you're sitting on your computer and maybe doing something? Oh, you got a little green light, so you're probably there. Send a message over real quick. If it's yellow, you've walked away, it's inactive for a certain amount of time. If it's red, you said do not bother. Send that out. Have a great, quick conversation, not email back and forth. You can have more real-time conversation. We'll look at this in just a few minutes, what that looks like. Are you online? Are you
Yeah,
connected?
I was gonna say, if I click submit right now, is it gonna call you on your, since you're signed into that computer, is
Yes.
it actually gonna pop up and call you?
Yes, but not don't do it yet. Oh, so this is talk. It's there. It's instant communication. This is recorded as well. So if you had that conversation, you can now do a search. We'll show you what this means in a second. In your email, you can do a search, and it's going to come up. It's going to pull up that conversation as well as all your emails that you talked about, as well as the documents that have that same key information in it, as well as any intranet sites that are out there that you have available, that's connected to you, that you have availability to, will have that information in there. So it just goes and searches across all those mediums. We just talked about sites. Sites is an intranet site. You can develop one per classroom if you want. So I know My Big Campus, is that here? Okay, kind of like My Big Campus. It's free. So it's here, it's easy, it ties in. You could put your drive, a certain folder in your drive if you want. Put it in My Sites here. Anything you add, change here to the drive, anybody that has access to the site information will see that. You change a document here. You don't have to go and say, okay, I have to go save it.